32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
Everything is bigger in Texas. Live from the Texas Motor Speedway, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook, and alongside me, our color commentator is Logan Threlkeld this evening. You can see it there up on your screen. We're going to welcome you in here for the Erhardt Group 200, live from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway, round 7 of this Racing Revolution season. Move into the point standings. Fresh off the bye week last week, obviously no racing here for Racing Revolution. All drivers should be rested and ready to go for a thrilling night in Texas. The points lead has grown to 66 on your screen. Jeremy Burns over the rest of the field. The mountain man himself, he has climbed that mountain so far. He has been on a crazy hot streak out here. He's going for win number 3 in a row and 4 out of the last 6. Kevin Orlando Jr., second in points, has also been spectacular, very consistent for that 27 machine. He's second in points and threatening to pull away from third place. Caleb Gilbert, Tay McDonald, and Trevor Erhardt round out your top 5. Justice Murphy, Parker Johnston, Rob Rader, Alex Forget Barub, and Daniel Holloway are your top 10. Logan, What do you think of the back half of this top 20 in points?
They got some room to catch up, but still plenty of time left in this season to do so. Just going to be consistency for that back half of the top 10, start getting their way up there. And even the guys further back, they got to get positions, but still, again, plenty of time left in the season.
And obviously the back half of that top 10 is James Loveland, Grant Thorpe, Michael Bennett, Jacob Servich, Trevor Keith in 15th, Grant Turner, John Fike, Tyler Harrison, Carter Linz, and Dustin Reinstedt round out your top 20. Now it's time to look at Texas Motor Speedway. Some people love it. Some people hate it. This is a polarizing racetrack. A lot of negativity around this facility. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Logan?
Yeah, this track catches a lot of flack, Morgan. Turns 1 and 2 being at a 20-degree bank. Turns 3 and 4 being at a 24-degree bank. There's just not a whole lot of consistency here. And as we go through this race, track will get hotter. It's already starting out in the triple digits in temperature. The racing line, we'll see that change many times throughout this race. And it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be hectic. And I'm just looking forward to it.
I agree with that. Let's have a quick look at your race analysis. 133 laps tonight, pit road speed of 45 miles an hour. We're going to have 5 tire sets available, and we'll probably use every one of them. 3 green-white checkers in Racing Revolution's Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Stage break at lap 40 in the fixed setup. Let's take a look at your pole winner this evening. The Coastal Financial Pole Award. Tay McDonald. But first, Coastal Financial. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. And with that, we're going to move into our grid this evening. We already mentioned starting on pole, Tay McDonald in the 29 machine. Beside him, Jeff Israel Jr., his best start of the year. Third place, Robert Rader. Beside Travis Gilbert, starting 4th. 5th will be Trevor Erhardt, and 6th will be Grant Thorpe. 7th, Jeremy Burns. 8th place, Carter Linz in the 66. And row 5, Frank Hughes Jr., newcomer to this league. Chris Nail in the 88 will start 10th.
Behind the top 10, we've got John Fike in 11th and Caleb Gilbert next to him. Justice Murphy, Alex Forget Burube. Daniel Holloway in the 21, starting out in 15th, next to Matt Robinson. Parker Johnston and Al Likens in 17th and 18th. James Loveland in the 02 and Tyler Harrison in the 45 bring out the back half of the top 20.
New look on that 45 here tonight. 21st, Michael Bennett in the 14. Cameron King alongside him in the 93. 23rd, Christian Bresnock, 00, Chevy Camaro. Nick Alves alongside in the 24, also starting 24th. 25th, Dustin Reinstedt. 26th, Dylan Picklesheimer. 27th, Kevin Orlando Jr., second in points. Not a great qualifying effort for him. Alongside Kyle Diaz in the 26. 29th, Grant Turner. 30th, Trevor Keith.
In the 31st position, Jacob Surkovich and Jackson McGeorge. Peyton Presley and Nicholas Schell behind them in 33rd and 34th. Jake Williams Sr. and Christopher Berger. And to bring up the back of this pack, Christopher Schaefer and Brandon Richardson.
And that is your grid here tonight. As the pace lights are already out on the pace car, Tay McDonald is going to lead the field to the green flag. We're about to get underway for the Erhardt Group 200 Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series as they roll into the restart zone. Here we go. Tay McDonald will lead lap number 1. Already a much better lap 1 than he had last week in Richmond, where he was already backed into the wall at this point in time. Not of his doing, just the way it goes. Sometimes racing is not forgiving. Pulls out to a 0.2 of a second lead over Raider and Gilbert. Have a look back at the field.
A lot of cars on track tonight, Morgan. What do you think about this 38-car field on Texas?
There is nothing better than a big field on a racetrack. I don't care if it's Texas. I don't care if it's Kern County. I don't care if it's Coda. It's just nice to see cars on the racetrack, and leagues work so hard. We had a car off the track. Is that Gilbert by chance? I think it is. Travis Gilbert in the 22. Little front end damage maybe. Pop the wall off a 2. No, car looks good. Maybe connection issue. That's what it is. Unfortunate break for that 22 machine, but it's just nice to see cars on a racetrack. Leagues work so hard to build up a base of drivers, of quality drivers like this league has, Racing Revolution, and it's always nice to showcase that these guys are the best at what they do.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see all these cars out here, and like you said, any track it works so much better whenever you have this many, and it'll get a little hairy at times, but I think they'll be able to make it all work out just fine.
Speaking of Harry, we are side by side a little further back. Parker Johnston and the Candy Man himself, Daniel Holloway. There he is in that Kisses car. Down into the corner side by side. And you had mentioned in the opening that this turn 1 is difficult. The radius of the corner is tighter than turn 3 and 4. The banking is less. Why is it so difficult to get through turns 1 if you're that car on the outside?
That's that low driving line here is the preferred driving line, and if you can't get in there and really just hug that bottom racing line, it makes it so much more difficult. So you'll see a bit slower of a cornering speed, and if they're lucky, a decent output on the back half of that, but it's just a tough corner.
Little wall contact for the 45 there. Sorry to cut you off, Logan, but we just saw Harrison get up in the fence trying to run that high line. The banking falls away very quickly off the exit turn 2 to kind of wrap up your point there. But difficult racetrack and a lot of damage on the right rear of that 45.
Yeah, and that's the problem I've had with turn 1 and 2 there is that exit. It gets slick, especially when the track is in the triple digits. It's difficult.
Glad you brought that up. Weather, 102-degree track temp, 81 in the air. Obviously clear and sunny here in Texas. I believe Fort Worth is where this track is located. But it's hot on those tires, and these things are slipping and sliding around. This is the first battle in the field, still back in 15th position. And this 48's just kind of stuck on the outside. Oh, that's going to be a little contact there with the 1, almost. I think they all keep it going the right direction, but this 48 car cannot get away from this outside lane. I'm not sure if he's trying to roll the top, but he gains time on entry because he can roll it faster, but he loses time right here to everybody else. You can see the 19 kind of drive away from him down the straightaway. And it's just not allowing the 48 to make any moves. He did finally get to the bottom, and I'm sure he's pretty happy about that.
Yeah, finally cleared that 1 car behind him, so I'm interested to see if he'll go back to that higher line in 1 or 2, or if he's going to stick with that low line.
Also, check out this 12 machine. This is the first time I have not seen this car red and white. It's like a zebra out there, and I don't know if All About Bugs will take care of zebras for you, but I guess Justice Murphy can tell you after the race.
That is quite the interesting paint scheme. I'm liking it, Morgan.
I dig it for sure. Supposed to be 4 wide here. Almost. Parker Johnston peeking to the inside of Barub. Didn't quite make it work, and Gilbert's going to dive to the outside of Murphy. Try to make it stick off of 2. Up losing a little bit of ground there. Really solid battle back here for the 12th position. But up at the front, Tay McDonald continues to lead. He's got 6/10 over Robert Rader. Jeremy Burns is going to find himself in 3rd position, 2.2 back. Right behind him, Trevor Erhardt, who I believe sponsors this race, and that is a new scheme for that machine as well. Liquid Death, half black, half white. Gold all over. I like that one. It's a nice scheme. Frank Hughes Jr. Go ahead.
That'd be an interesting one to be on the inside than the outside of. You never know who you're up against.
That is very true. That's a good point, actually. We'll see if that impacts anyone later in the race, not knowing who's either inside or outside. That's a interesting scheme. I haven't seen one that's symmetrical like that in a while. Frank Hughes Jr. is in 5th position in the 61. Jeff Israel Jr. is in 6th in the 6 machine. Back 4 spots. Grant Thorpe down 1 to 7th. Carter Linz is 8th in the 66. In front of John Fike and Chris Nail. That is your top 10. Caleb Gilbert in the 11. How about in 11th in the 54? Justice Murphy still side by side with Johnston. These guys do not want to give up any spots.
It's a good run on the outside line for that 19 car.
Yeah, I think that if you can keep the momentum up, especially as the tires wear, that outside's going to be really good out of 4. Look at how good the run is for the 19. He cleared from off the rear bumper to clearing into turn 1, that 12 machine, and Johnston got tight the 48 as he went through turns 1 and 2. Hopefully he doesn't catch the wall on the exit. Nope, all good there. We haven't gone much farther than these drivers throughout the field. James Loveland in the 02, haven't talked about him yet tonight. There he's on the inside of Johnston, who just loves being side by side because he's been side by side with someone every lap of this race. But a little further, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as the rest of the field kind of gets to single file standing, he likes the door.
I don't know if he's adding side force to that machine. Oh, big loose moment for Loveland. Off at 2, that car got wicked loose. He's going to lose 4 spots.
That's a tough one to recover, though, so you did a great job keeping that car on the racetrack.
Yeah, these cars, when they get loose, we've seen it in the real NASCAR Cup Series. When these cars get loose, it is very hard to save them. Is he shifting by chance? Did I just hear an upshift on the front stretch? That would be interesting. Oh, he is, too, shifting in 1 and 2. I didn't know that was an option. And that's probably why he's getting so free, so much rear tire spin. We're 3 wide on the backstretch. My goodness. Harrison making moves up through the field in a bunch of spots there. Murphy's fallen back a little bit. The car got a really not great turn 2 exit and slid through the field. Driver on the move too. Alex Forget working on P9 underneath Chris Nail. What do you think, Logan? If you were in this race right now, where do you want to have your car?
I want to be away from the pack as much as possible, so preferably somewhere up there in the top 10. That way, if anything happens, it happens behind me and I can get away scot-free. But realistically, it's hard to say. This track's so difficult that you could be anywhere at any point and something could happen in front of you.
Yeah, that's right.
So
it's hard to avoid.
There's no safe zone.
You're right. It's hard to avoid stuff at this racetrack. You're absolutely right. Especially when you got 6 cars under a blanket like this. We got Bresnock, McGeorge, Alves, Orlando, and Keith. And I think the one who's the most nervous here is Orlando as he's pushing Alves through the corner. Would not advise that, Mr. 27, but that will, this is your second place in points right now, and he's a little worried about what he's seen in front of him, and it's not clean racetrack. He's in the wall. Oh, he's wrecked. Oh my goodness. Caution's not out, but that car is destroyed. Oh,
yeah, look at that front right tire.
Yeah, that is a day ender. Potentially. I forget, we are on the next gen car. That's a tow link. Probably 8 minutes of repair, but this car is going to lose a lot of time as he's already down to 35th position. Their caution is now out. Lycan's had an issue, actually. That bailed out the 27. Let's go
that'll
back
definitely help him a little bit.
and find out what happened to that Aaron's Dream Machine. Not a dream right now. Let's go back and see what we can find. Just got tagged from, I think that Shell, if I'm not mistaken. Have a bit better look at that, however. So there's Likens passing that wounded 27. Chased down from the 58. 8's catching them as well. And I think this is just a classic Texas case of outside car doesn't want to get in the wall. Inside car doesn't quite know. Oh, a little bit loose for the 40 is what happened. And then the 58 said nowhere to go. And around goes Likens. Yeah, that's going to bail out the 27 in a big way because that car was absolutely demolished, walloped. You can see it on the screen right there. The tire is not supposed to go that way.
The fact that he's still driving that thing pretty straight is amazing.
He must not have a motion rig because that would hurt. I can tell you from experience that hurts. Right front's bouncing. You can't even talk. Everything is moving so much. But off the pit lane, I believe Carter Linz won the race off pit road by taking 2 tires. Whole swarm of cars coming at you. Actually, no cars a lap down now. I believe we did have 1 car a lap down who got the free pass. All 38 machines will be on the lead lap if Kevin Orlando can get his damage repaired in time. There is a look at the 27, and Likens also still on pit road. Oh, you can see that the 39, who's got some front end damage already, not sure what happened to him. He is taking the wave around. Going to try and get the lap back the strategic way as he's in between the pace car and the leader. But yeah, heavy aero damage, that 39 machine. And there he is. There is Mr. Grant Turner.
That is the face of determination right there.
Yeah, you just got to persevere at this point. We're only 24 laps into a 133-lap race. Your car is destroyed. Not quite, but it's got some damage to it. And all you got to do is just keep your head down and keep plugging away. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's also provided us with a foot cam, which we may get to under some green flag racing, just to see kind of what drivers are doing into turn 1, if he's shifting or what have you. But that is the 39 of Grant Turner, who is currently in the 36th position, down 7 spots. Biggest mover of the race to this point, the 8 machine. How about Brandon Richardson? Up 11 spots. Scratch that. It's actually Christopher Schaefer, who's up 13 spots due to a 2-tire pit stop. We'll see how that helps. I would be a little worried about putting on 2 tires at this. Oh, and he just wrecked under caution. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what to say. What happened there?
I'm so confused.
Well, that is this is a replay opportunity if I've ever seen one. Yeah, he just looped it. I don't know what else. Yeah, that's a weird one. Definitely. We're gonna see it here. There is the 23 machine, and he just, I don't know if he's trying to downshift or might have been trying to first gear launch or something, but that car just went around. And that loses all the track position. Now he's only +2. As we're doubled up and ready to go green. Lynn's on the outside. Tay McDonald on the inside. Chris Nail, Robert Rader, Caleb Gilbert, Jeremy Burns. That is your first 3 rows. The reason I don't like 2 tires, namely this 88 machine, is if you were loose before, which it looks like most of these drivers were pretty free, I think you would agree with that, right, Logan?
Absolutely.
That if you put 2 tires on it, especially, well, 2 right sides will loosen you up a lot. 2 right sides loosen you up, 2 left sides will tighten you up. So if he put on left sides, I'm feeling pretty good. If he put on right sides, I would be worried if I was, say, the 54 right behind that 88. But we're going to find out right away. As the green flag is in Barney's hand. Roll into the restart zone. There's cars there, I promise. We're back green. Oh, 3 wide to the bottom here. Rader is going to make a move on McDonald. That was an aggressive entry. And McDonald's going to fight back. Rader got really tight at the pedal, and he's going to lose probably 3 spots here off the corner. There goes Burns by him. Not a great reward for the risk there, but he's now side by side with his teammate. Last week's winner and the week before that's winner, Jeremy Burns in the 9. The Mountain Man. Great nickname.
That is a good nickname. I like that. Did you come up with that, Morgan?
No, it's on the side. It's on the frame rail. It's on his car already. I can take no credit. Much as I'd love to. He's racing hard for 4th with Rader. At this point in time, I think all you're trying to do is just, for me anyway, I'm trying to log laps, maybe get a spot. If you can't get the spot, ride in front of the 41. Just, oh, 41's big time in the wall. Another car. Oh, we're wrecking back there. Is that Alves? I think the 24 just went for a big ride on the back stretch. That absolutely is Alves. Car into the fence off the corner, and the 24 finds the inside wall. See the left side's pancaked. And he's still up to speed.
He came down to that inside wall with some speed. I'm surprised he doesn't have more damage than that.
The good news about this race car, as this battling might cost Rader and Burns 2 spots, is the 41. Oh, that was a tight move. Bit of a block there by the 53, but you got to do what you got to do. Erhardt's loose on the apron. And Holloway is going to try and take advantage. 2 by 2 to go into turn 1.
Yeah, I think we'll see these next couple laps being pretty close racing. A lot of guys going to fight for position and get some of these stage points here. We've got that coming up soon.
In fact, that's in 10 laps. Thank you for reminding me. I always forget stages exist in iRacing. Let's do a quick field rundown while we wait for our stage to occur. Leader right now, Carter Lins. There he is. Under fire from Tay McDonald. Might have a new leader here right away. Tay has led most of the laps so far. 2 tires working out for Chris Nail. He is currently in 3rd. And with the stage coming up, this is a much better call than I originally thought it was. We got a battle for the lead. So before the show, Logan, you were telling me that you had just recently raced at this racetrack in a league race. Why don't you tell me about driving side by side with somebody at this facility?
I did not like it. It was it was not fun. I couldn't get my preferred line more times than not. It still ended up being all right. I think I came in either 4th or 5th place here. So happy with my finish, but yeah, very tough, long race. Even though we only did 80 laps in ours, it felt like it dragged on forever. It really wore me down physically and mentally, having to adjust my driving through both of these corners every single lap.
Speaking of adjust, these leaders are having to adjust their lines for each other. Chris Nail has joined the party as these top 3 battle for the lead. McDonald got it for a second, but Linz is back to the inside. Side by side across the stripe. Tay McDonald's going to lead, I believe, his 23rd lap. The event, Carter Linz on the 66. He's trying to regain some of that Coda magic. He was very fast until I think he had a late race spin a few weeks ago. But he's doing a great job right now. I know he hates it when I have the camera on him, but when you battle for the lead, I have no choice, Carter. I'm sorry. There was a hashtag, Logan. It's a whole thing.
I'll have to catch up on that after the race, Morgan.
Oh, big crossover for the 53. He's going to try and get underneath this 88. He's got to deal with the 66. We got 4 cars going for 1 spot. Raider dives it down into turn 3. Oh, hits the apron. It's a little bit loose. Nail's going to fight back on the top. Great racing at Texas. This is not something you would consider with this racetrack. Talk about negativity at the start of the race, and a lot of people hate this place. Think it just drives awful. These next-gen cars put on a good show here, and we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, and it's wild to see how close these guys are getting through the corners. Not even enough room to shimmy sideways between them if they were parked.
Caution is out. We got a big one. That is Peyton Presley, whose left front has seen better days. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what happened to the 7 and others. And this will probably also be our stage break. Presley is just, they're wrecking in front of him already. That's, I think, Bresnock. 93's in it. Let's see if we can get a look here from the doubles. Oh, big hit for the 7. Oh, my goodness. Why? How did Fight get back here? That's interesting. Must have had an issue for the 10. Let's see if we can find out what happened to get the double 0 out of shape. He's just loose on his own off of 2, and then up in front of the 18, and in the 8, the 93 gets involved, and there's a big HD screen blocking our view.
Actually, the largest HD video screen on Earth, nicknamed the Big Hoss, Morgan.
How's that for a setup? Hit that one right off the tee. Here's another look at the 00 getting loose off the corner. He did the right thing hitting the brakes to try and straighten it out. Unfortunately, they were too wide behind him, just nowhere for everyone to go to avoid him.
Yeah, if he doesn't have that 18 car right on his bumper, that's a clean save, and this race keeps going on until that stage break.
That's right. Well, would you believe it? Somebody's going to gamble. Dylan Picklesheimer is going to be your leader. I don't know for sure. I'll have to get admin clarification. I don't know if the stage points are handed out on lap 40 or if they were just handed out at the caution. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to get some word from Mr. Raider and the rest of the team. But at this moment, Dylan Picklesheimer is your leader. Al Likens is second. Both these drivers have stayed out on 15-lap-old tires. Tay McDonald, who is currently pushing Al Likens, is third. First car on new tires. There's Tay. Robert Raider is in fourth. Carter Linz is in fifth. Chris Nail, Jeremy Burns, Trevor Erhardt, Tyler Harrison. There's that 45 machine. He is up 11 spots. Daniel Holloway, Jeff Israel, Matt Robinson, Grant Thorpe, Parker Johnston, and Kyle Diaz are your top 15.
Yeah, for Dylan Picklesheimer and Al Likens, better benefit. I sure hope that they hand out those points for lap 40 specifically. Otherwise, they're already on 15-lap-old tires. It's not going to play out good for them having Tay McDonald right behind them.
I'd have to think this is just a gamble to try and get some track position. This is often a track position racetrack. It's hard to pass. We've seen the 48 side by side with cars for most of that first 40 laps, and it's just hard to do anything with it. So having an opportunity to pass 20 cars in 25 in the case of Picklesheimer, 16 in the case of Likens. This can't hurt. As we roll under caution here, go pick out your favorite driver in the lineup. Quick race recap for you as well. 2 cautions. We had the 1 spin for Likens, 3 lead changes, and obviously the other caution being just now for the stage break, which we're not exactly sure who won the stage. I think we've made that perfectly clear. It'll be reflected in the points next week when we head on to Talladega, which I'm sure some of the field loves, some of the field doesn't. But we have the Chews. Quite hard to tell from this angle what they're doing based on how far away we are up in the sky, but see if we can get a better look here. Here's a good look from the nose of Jake Williams Sr. in the 51. Inside goes on the black, outside goes on the gray on the racetrack, and that means Mr. Jake Williams Sr. is going to pick the bottom. Should restart somewhere around the 13th row, if I'm not mistaken. I did that math right.
The choose cone's always interesting to me, Morgan. This is another way to get a strategy of gaining some track position on that restart. If everybody's taking the bottom line and you decide to go for that top line, you could gain quite a few spots sometimes.
And on a track like this, where we've seen that the top isn't a disadvantage by any stretch, it's a good feeling to get up there, roll the top, and gain 6 spots. Rolling through turns 3 and 4. Picklesheimer's your leader. Likens outside. Both these cars on old tires. Tay McDonald and Robert Rader on 4 fresh ones. We are going to see something here, I have a feeling. Go into the restart zone. And we're off. One more time here. Let's see it.
Great restart there for Picklesheimer. No tire spin at all. Got him a big jump.
But look how much new tires matter. Just watch that 29 close down the backstretch. He's almost to the rear bumper. That was a 3-car length gap going into turn 1. He's just going to lurch to the outside and drive right around this 43. He doesn't get loose like he did right there. Now Rader has a chance. And if there's one thing the 43 wants, it's too wide behind him. Oh my goodness.
Switchback for the 29.
That'll get your heart stopping really quick when you see a car go top to bottom, just about take off your rear bumper. Rader's done that a few times tonight, and I don't know how many more times he can get away with that before somebody getting wise to it. I'm impressed with how well these drivers have done side by side today. I mean, we've seen it for the lead. We're obviously seeing it for third right now. We've seen it back in the field. Drivers have done a really nice job of not dooring each other. As McDonald got a little bit tight there, and Rader's going to take the lead clean. But the incidents we've seen tonight have just been loose off of 2. It hasn't been guys washing up the track or driving into the back of each other. It's just simply a handling condition of this racetrack. The flatter turns 1 and 2 right here. Really easy to lose the rear tires, start sliding.
And one thing I noticed there coming out of 2, it's just the slightest bit of a bump. And if you hit it wrong and you're on the gas too early, it'll come out around you.
Well, let's ride on board with Chris Nail, and he'll show us where this bump is. He's running the bottom. Really inviting entry. And you're just thinking everything's great right here, and then all of a sudden, kind of right in this area right there is a bit of a bump. And if you're on the throttle, too much wheel, it'll upset the car, and you'll slide, and you'll slide far.
Yeah, there's no stopping whenever you're coming out of 2 sideways.
Jeremy Burns to second. Tay McDonald. Picklesheimer doing a pretty good job here. He is back to 4th. I'm surprised that he hasn't fallen farther back just based on having old tires. 15 laps is quite a bit here as we got, that's Erhardt. Oh, they're wrecking, that's Likens. Oh, they're big wrecking back there.
I was just about to mention Likens already falling back to 9th after that restart, after starting on 2nd.
That was a big one. And all that was a car got the fence, and then the car got the rest of the field. Let's go back and find out what happened. Al Likens. It looks like it's the... Oh, the one just came down for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's a lot of cars involved. How did Grant Turner miss that? We need to go on board with that 39 machine in a minute, but let's see. Let's go on board with the one of Matt Robinson and see, figure out what happened to make him go to the left. So here we are, out of 2. There's Likens, and he just, oh, he's loose. That's all it is. Yeah, no
That
ill.
was that spot, too, that I was talking about, that slight bump.
That's right, and no ill will there, obviously. He didn't do anything maliciously. Nice spinning 180 by the 6, but let's go check out the 39. And this is some scary stuff. So on the nose here of Grant Turner. See him kind of wrecking up in front of him. Car's in the wall, and there's the spin. And he just keeps her gunned on the top side. There wasn't enough room, but he made enough room.
He might be missing a little bit of paint on that right side of that car, but he did a great job just finding the gap and making his way through it.
Not even a scrape on that 39. He got the nose fixed, too. Remember, he had that front end damage when he had stayed out to get the wave around, so it looks like he's back on the same cycle. He's actually up to 9th position, that 39 car is, so impressive run. He's actually got his hand on his head right now. He can't believe what just happened. And I don't blame him. I don't know how he missed that, and he did a fantastic job of doing so. All right,
Morgan, I'm a little curious here, now that we're almost 50 laps into this race, what kind of track temperature are we looking at? I know we started out at 102. I expect it to be, oh, it's down.
I think that's why business is picking up a little bit, and we're seeing some more side-by-side, a little bit more aggressive moves. We're down 5 degrees, like you mentioned there, and that can only mean more grip in the tires and more, a little bit more confidence for the drivers out here.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more side-by-side action if that temperature keeps trending downward. Gives, like you said, a lot more confidence to the driver and really can make both of those racing lines work at the same time.
And that's what you love to see, is just a racetrack where you can run multiple grooves. It's a little different from one corner to the other. I think that after this weekend in the actual NASCAR series, all 3 of them put on quite good races, that I think the perception around Texas is kind of starting to change a little bit. And I'm glad that this iRacing series here, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution, has put on a great effort here tonight for the Erhardt Group 200 at Texas. And side-by-side throughout, great battling, and really very little in the contact department, just some good hard racing, and I'm glad to see that out of these guys. We're going to take a quick look through your field. Start off with your leader, Robert Rader. Obviously the 53 has led 7 laps of this race. There he is. Behind him, Jeremy Burns in the 9. Tay McDonald in the 29. Been up front for most of the day. Trevor Erhardt in the 41. Never know what that machine's going to look like from either side. I'm sure he's confusing his competitors. Daniel Holloway in the 21. He is up a bunch of spots here, up 10. James Loveland in the 02, taking the high lane here on the restart. Trevor Keith in the 15. Jacob Servich in the 18 machine. Grant Turner gained a lot of spots by avoiding that incident. Justin Reinstedel in the 11, the Napa Auto Parts machine. Nicholas Schell in the 58. He was involved in an earlier incident, but he is okay. How about Jake Williams, senior, in the 51. Ro Simrig on the side of that car. Brad Richardson in the 8. Carter Linz in the 14. Picklesheimer, who fell back a number of spots. I believe he actually just pitted for tires. 2 tires, it looks like. Maybe fuel only. Hard to say. Orgette in 16th. McGeorge, 17th. Schaefer, Nail, Thorpe are your top 20. Gilbert, Murphy in the Zebra car. Mike, Bennett, Berger. A lot of cars back here who we wouldn't expect to see back here. Oh, Johnston lost the whole entire front end of that 48. That is unfortunate for him.
Got another one a couple spots behind him.
That's Israel Jr. as well. Caught some issues there. He was part of that last accident. Car's a lap down or out of the race. Nick Alves. So we're not quite going green yet. We still got one to go under caution here, but back to where we were. Diaz in 26th, Berger is 27th, Israel's 28th, Bresnock 29th. We got Likens, who obviously was running up front and had his issue. There's Likens in the Dream Machine. Harrison, who's been up and down throughout this field. Matt Robinson, Nick Alves in the 24. He is 4 laps down. 13 down is Frank Hughes Jr. Also 13 down is Peyton Presley. Cameron King is 14 down. Kevin Orlando Jr., second in points. There he is. He is 23 down. And Travis Gilbert is shotgun on the field. He's 28 down, left the session with connection issues.
We're going to see a couple fans in the chat cheering for Harrison. Hopefully he can start moving his way back up towards the front and keep them happy.
Well, he was running, I believe, back half of the top 10 when we got to the stage break. That all-white 45, and he was caught up in that accident. He had a little spin. I don't think any major damage on that 45, but we will see what he can do here as the pace lights are out on that pace car. Raiders going to lead him to green with McDonald on the outside. These are familiar foes. They have raced a lot against each other. Jeremy Burns as well. Those three have kind of run up front for most of these races. In this race at Texas, no different.
That's one of the things I love being able to keep up with some of these leagues is as the time goes on, drivers driving next to each other start to learn how each other drive, and just everything improves the later you get into the season. It's fun to watch.
Speaking of improve, that 53 really improved his starting position as he just lurched out to a 3-car length lead over Burns, who takes over second. Turner's fighting hard with Keith. This is for the 7th position. Well, it's a bit of a treat for you fans. You can see what it looks like to drive this car with somebody's feet. It's Grant Turner, car we're on right now. You can see he's full throttle here in 3 and 4. Just trying to make time. And we get to 1 and 2, you'll see how he lifts, maybe drags the brake a little bit, little shift. Interesting stuff to see what the feet of these drivers are doing. I'm glad he wore the clean socks today. That was a joke, Logan. You can laugh at that.
I'm laughing. I just didn't want to be too loud on the stream.
Okay. All right. Side by side for second. Tay McDonald wants a piece of Burns.
That was quite interesting to watch that foot cam. The difference between the race I had here and today, we actually elected to race this one at night. So we were able to drive in a lot harder into 1 and 2. And I noticed he lifted probably a half second or better sooner than I was. So temperature, a huge effect on this track.
And not only is it that, it's just you don't have to shift when you're running here at night. You just run it in fifth gear the whole time. You don't have to worry about it. The downshift it gets you a lot more speed that way, a lot more momentum. And you have to do things a little different when you're trying to manipulate how the rear tires have to hook up. On board here with James Loveland, 7th position, up 12 spots, having himself a pretty good run here. Let's see if he can get up into that top 5. He's done a good job of chasing down the 41, as pretty much the entire, oh, we're still side by side up there. I thought they settled it out, but Burns and McDonald are having their differences right now for that 2nd position, and nobody wants to give it up. We want to see somebody who just is cool as a cucumber. How about this guy right here, Jeremy Burns? Just, it's like he doesn't even care that someone is trying to pass him at 180 miles an hour. He is just calm, cool, and collected.
Sometimes that's how you got to drive tracks like this, though. Just pretend you're the only one out there. Make them go around you.
If only it were that easy. If only I would have thought of that, Logan. Goodness gracious. I might have won a race. Hard to say.
You win some, you lose some.
Actually, that is a good question. You ever won here?
I have not. I've only ran 3 races here entirely, and I did, like I said, I think I was either 4th or 5th here, which for as limited experience on this track as I have, I was very happy with.
I have won here. Won here on the best timed caution I could have ever asked for. I just rolled off pit road, across the access line, and the caution came out. So I had brand new tires, cycled up to the lead with about 15 to go, and never looked back. Was able to win a race, propelled me to a championship, and one driver is hoping that happens to him tonight as well.
And who would you say that is, Morgan?
Oh, it is way too early to tell. If Richmond 2 weeks ago was any indication, we had the leader crash, I think, 4 different times in that race. I am not going to pick a driver until they cross the finish line. And even then, I might wait until they hit turn 1. The whale of a battle for 5th. Erhardt, Holloway, Loveland, all going after it, doing their best. Since you asked me, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who do you have to win this race? We're about halfway through it. Who in your eyes is the car to beat?
Coming up on halfway here between the 66th and 67th lap. You know, I'm like you. It's hard to say. It's obviously there's some favorites here. Robert Rader putting on a great show right now. Jeremy Burns, watching him in practice, he was putting down some really good laps as well. But this track is technical, even though it doesn't look it. So it's really anybody's race, and I know I preach tires every time I'm in the booth. It's going to be strategy here, and maybe a little mixture of luck like you had on that caution.
What I will say about the tires, though, is we're only 0.6 off the pace after almost 30 laps, 26 laps. So I don't know if tires are that big of a deal in terms of lap time. It's probably just the feel of the car that a lot of drivers are being able to get away with right now. And we had a mix of 4 tires and 2 tires up in the top 10. So as well as the fuel only looks like for the 19 and 11th, who's only on pit road only in the box for 5.3 seconds. So that's got to be fuel only. But we've got a lot of different strategies, and it's showing that tires aren't the biggest deal in this race.
Yeah, it's really just how these drivers can adjust
there
as we got
goes
one
the
spinning
39.
around.
That's Grant Turner. Caution is out. I'm not going to show the look on his face, as it is not okay for TV. Not family friendly, folks. But let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to the 39. Just rolling turn 2, a little higher than he wanted to be probably, and just stepped out on him. And then obviously he got help from the 41, because where's the 41 supposed to go? I don't think there's any ill will there or any blame to be laid on the 41. Let's have a look at this out of turn 2. That did not work the way it was supposed to. Not sure what happened here. Something has gone awry, but we'll just get back to the live shot. Everyone's coming down pit road. Robert Rader leads them down.
This will be pit number 4 for some of these drivers, so burning through some of these tires pretty quickly with, still half of this race to go.
They only had 5 sets. That's a good point to bring up. Is I'm not sure exactly where everyone is on tires. I don't have that information available to me, but I'm sure that we are at least 3 sets into it. So half the race to go, only 2 sets left. You have to be pretty careful on where you take tires.
I feel like a lot of these guys are banking on this track getting cooler as it goes on, but it's Texas after all.
And it's warm in Texas, usually. I don't know, I've never been, I'm guessing.
It is quite warm, especially this time of year.
All right. All right, well, one driver elected to do something different. Took 2 tires. That is the 98 of Jackson McGeorge. He is on a 2-tire strategy. Don't know if it's left or rights, but he is currently in the 5th position. There he is. Robert Rader is still your leader. McDonald and Burns, Erhardt, McGeorge, Loveland, Holloway, Linz, Trevor Keith, Forget. That is your top 10, and a good run here. Or the 19, who we've seen put together some pretty quick drives the last 3 or 4 weeks. Bristol comes to mind, where he was, I think, the fastest car out there. Had a bit of an issue with Rader. Forget not able to finish that race, and I think he ran pretty well last week. 3 weeks ago at Coda. He ran well, and I don't recall Richmond for him, but I think he's a pretty good short track racer. This 19 is, and he's showing that he's got some speed on the 1.5 miles, and this unorthodox 1.5 miles, I think, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, and he had a great pit box time there, 14.3, only 2 cars beating him there, Erhardt and Loveland. So good time in the box, get out, and maybe gained a position or 2 off that.
It all helps, right? Any tenth you can gain here or there. Obviously, we as drivers can't control how long the pit crew takes. There's a variability of a couple tenths on either side of kind of your normal stop time, and how you get in the box can help. If you're way to the left or way to the right or far forward or far back, it can make it a little bit longer, as the crew has to travel to you. But if you hit it right, you can usually get a pretty good stop out of it. And the 19 did.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where I struggled last week here at Texas. I unfortunately blew through my pit box twice in that race. I wasn't too happy about it.
That is something I struggled with at the beginning of my racing career, for sure, was always sliding through pit boxes. And what I ended up doing to alleviate that was I would roll pit road in 2nd gear, depending on the car. And then when I would get towards the box, I would drop it down into 1st. As I was getting into the box, give me a little bit more engine braking, and usually I very rarely slide through the box. If anything, it's stopping too short now. But pit road is important to get good at. As a driver, you can gain a lot of time, you can lose a lot of time coming to, driving on, and getting off of pit road.
And some of those tracks can be difficult with a higher pit road speed. If you drop it down in the first, get a little wheel hop, and then all of a sudden you're sideways, and they can't work on your car if you're not in the box.
That is very true. They have the rules here, just like NASCAR, where you got to have all four corners. The right rear is a question mark, and I think you have to have all four corners in the box so that you are able to get work done. And there's a specific window you have to drive into, or else the crew will not recognize you're in the box. Then you got problems. But don't back up too far because you'll get disqualified. It's fickle. Pitting is. But enough about pitting. We're rolling through 3 and 4. Rader and McDonald, once again. Burns in second again. McGeorge gained a spot on the choose. We're about to go live racing. Lap number 70 is going to be in the books here right away. Rader leads them into turn 1 again.
Raiders consistently getting great restarts, and which is huge to have that clean air on the front nose of that car.
If this is a clean air racetrack, you can really impact the drivers behind you by getting a good drive through 1 and 2. It'll really hurt the drivers behind you. Trevor Keith making some noise in 7th position.
All the way up here from 30th. Great race for him so far.
Yeah, he is putting on a show. And there is Trevor Keith. Let's ride on board with him for a little while here, see what he does. Currently in the 7th position. And they're fighting behind him, but he is doing a good job of keeping it in front of all those drivers.
And another guy that just looks as cool as a cucumber right now. Just ignoring everything around him. Just driving his race.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what he has to do up here. Up 23 positions. Somehow, not the biggest mover of the race. 1 car in front of him. Jason McGeorge is up 26 positions, 32nd to 6th. Congratulations to him on a strategy call, but it still counts. Forget to the top around Lynn's going to try and make a pass here, and he is going to complete that pass and work on Holloway. Ooh, Thorpe just about caught the wall there. I do find the shifting interesting here. Were you shifting in your race, Logan?
I'm in the Xfinity cars in my league, so we stuck it in 4th and kept going.
Hope for the best.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of shifting in the in the Cup car, the next gen car, on 1.5 miles. So I've done it on short tracks, done it on road courses, obviously, but never really done it on the 1.5 miles. And I ran most of an NIS season a few years ago, and just wasn't something that we did from week to week. Setups were just didn't prohibit it, but it wasn't faster. So I'm just intrigued by downshifting into 1, and then shifting in 3 and 4. I just don't know where you would do that and why what that gets you. But obviously it's working for most of these drivers out here.
Yeah, that comes down to having a lot of practice time through the week to perfect that shift point, and hopefully see where you can pick up maybe a 10th or 2, or where you're losing it, and adjust before it's race day.
Hopefully auto blips turned off, or that'll cost you a lot of time. Don't want to have that on. That makes it so that every time you shift, it fully enables the clutch, lifts off the throttle. Whereas if you just blip the throttle yourself, stab the gas to match RPMs, you don't have to worry about engaging the clutch in this machine with the sequential shifter. So it can save you probably a 10th per shift. George still hanging tough here in 6th. I'm really impressed with this 2-tire call.
I really wish we had the information on whether or not he took insides or outsides.
Yeah, you won't be able to tell quite yet on the balance. I think that'll take another 10, 15 laps before the car will really start to show if it's loose or tight. You got aero tight there behind Loveland. Obviously, Loveland kind of chopped the nose a little bit. Nothing, no problem with that, but a little free on exit for the 98. But I have a feeling it was outside tires for McGeorge. So drivers we haven't really talked about. How about the 18? Certificate? I struggle with that name. Apologies. Maybe you can get it, Logan.
I believe it's Sirkovich. At least that's how it appears to me.
Very good. Very good. There he is. He was caught up in an incident earlier, but he's doing a pretty good job rebounding to the 13th position. Behind Keith, Thorpe, Holloway, the Candyman. Chris Nails on his outside. Was trying to get to his outside. These drivers are all fighting for the 10th position. Pretty good job in the All About Bugs machine, working it up there into the top 10. He is up 18 spots throughout this race from where he started. Dylan Picklesheimer. Strategy did not quite work out for him. He is back to 17th, although he did save a set of tires. So for what it's worth, that could help him at the end of the race. We got about 50 laps to go in this event. Fan favorite, Tyler Harrison. We're getting all the driver cams tonight. There's Tyler Harrison. Now he's on triples, no question about that. There he is in the 45 and that all-white machine. I like that paint scheme, but he is focused and he's wheeling it right now.
As a single monitor guy, I'm quite jealous of that setup.
It helps. I will tell you, it helps a lot. That's not why we're here. Oh, we got cars in the fence. Not quite Harrison, although he was flirting with it. Pretty much single file here over the top 15. Our first side-by-side battle. A little further back in the field, maybe.
I think this is shaping up to be a good green flag run for a little while.
Top three have checked out by a second over Erhardt. Rader, Burns, and McDonald. This 19 is driving hard. Just past McGeorge. That is, I believe, 6th position now for Frigette. Trying to chase down Loveland. A top 5 may just be in store for the 19.
He definitely has the pace to do it.
Yeah, he was the fastest on track last lap. If you ignore Tay McDonald's 1/8 of a second lap, I don't know how he managed such a spectacular lap. That one was 16 seconds, so obviously timing and scoring is having an issue, but Forget's running about 30.4s, the leader's running 30.6s. So I would expect that 19 to get up here pretty quick because he's working Loveland right now. Don't you forget about Alex. Haha. Haha. No laughs at all.
I'm just speechless, Morgan. That was, I feel like that was low-hanging fruit there.
It really was. Although it took, we got a caution here. It took 8 weeks for me to make a joke like that. So you're welcome, everyone. Also, sorry. Richardson has an issue. Let's go back and figure out what it was. Off of 2. Car looks in order. Into 3. Oh, just didn't turn. That is interesting. Did he maybe clip the wall?
Yeah, it looked like he did a little bit before that entry, and you know, these walls and these cars, it acts like a vacuum sometimes, and you just can't get off of it.
And if you hit a part of the wall that sticks out with the right front, it'll tear the right front off the car. I think that's what happened here. Let's see, going into 3, because it looks good right here.
You've got a little jut from the wall right there.
Yeah, it just,
That's
he
exactly
brushed the
what
wall
happened.
and it just, yeah, it didn't turn. So caution is out for the 8 who has left the session. So no more for the 8. Driver has made up a lot of ground and kind of been all over this field tonight is John Fike. We've seen him up at the front, we've seen him at the back, we've seen him in the middle, and he's currently in 9th position coming to the pit stop.
Speaking of Fike, this will be his 6th pit stop of this race.
That is the most out of, second most. Caleb Gilbert's pit 7 times out of all drivers. So that is, he's going for the record here tonight. And if he can, if he can pull to the top 10 while making extra pit stops, that's impressive. Means you got a fast car. Left sides and right sides going up for all these machines here. No one. Oh, looks like the 19 got a really good stop again, and he's going to come out right beside Erhardt. Still in 6th position, it looks like. Oh, actually, he did gain a spot. Grant Turner stayed out. Once again, strategy call by the 39. We saw this at, I believe it was Richmond, where he had stayed out. I think it was Richmond. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but there was definitely a race earlier this season where he had stayed out and tried an alternate strategy, and it paid off for him. Not too bad. I think it was Richmond. He is currently your leader. Raider 2nd, Burns, McDonald, Erhardt, and Berube are your top 6. Loveland, McGeorge, Linz, and Fike. And what that does for McGeorge is that puts him on the same strategy as everyone else. So that 2-tire call was pretty much perfect.
Yeah, Grant Turner in that 39, he's playing a dangerous game here. 21 or 22 lap stint. There he is.
Yeah, there we go. I think he realized you can almost make it to the end from here. We got to be flirting with, it's only 43 laps from right here, so I think you're flirting with this being your last stop of the race. And I think Turner realized that after he had stayed out the first lap, and that is probably going to be a penalty for him. I believe you have to pit if you're on the lead lap in that first lap. You cannot come back. You cannot come back on the second unless you pit on the first one. So we'll see if there's the penalty to be handed out to the 39. Nick Alves and Kevin Orlando Jr., the 24 and 27 respectively, not having great nights. They are 33rd and 34th, 12 and 26 laps down respectively. So it's going to be a tough night in the points for the very consistent Kevin Orlando Jr. We'll see if anyone can challenge Jeremy Burns, as Burns' lead is getting to the point of, in fact, I think it's over a full race at this point. That 9 machines points lead is, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially this early in the season.
And a look at our schedule. There it is on your screen. Texas right now. Second column from the left, second one down. Talladega next week. Dover, Kansas, Darlington, then the All-Star race. And I think these next 4 races will really tell you where you're at in the championship. If you can come out of Darlington in the top 10 in points, I think you got a pretty good idea of how your season's going to go. It's going to be difficult to turn it around. Charlotte, Sonoma, Iowa, New Hampshire. That's a tough stretch of the schedule. Playoffs not that far away.
No, not at all in retrospect of things. And a couple off weeks in the back half of this regular season. Give these guys a little bit of a break after some harder tracks, and then right back to it.
And I hope to see every one of you watching this at home, every one of you for all of these races. Ingrain it into your mind. I'll be here. All of those races, and we'll be here on V-Speed. Make sure to like and subscribe obviously to V-Speed as well. We appreciate all the support you give us and love having you right along with us for all these events. Racing Revolution, Environmental Services, Chapman Environmental Services, Cup Series, Oil, Original Rebels Racing League, all of the different leagues on V-Speed. Appreciate everyone involved in iRacing and all these different leagues and all the fans at home watching. And obviously, Logan beside me is doing a pretty good job here tonight. But we're going to get back racing with Raider and McDonald. Another great launch for the inside line as they're both going to clear Tay McDonald into one.
Now, Raider didn't quite get the jump that he has in the previous starts, but still, at least a car and a half on second place, Jeremy Burns.
And that 19 is moving right now. He is up to 4th place. That's his best running order of the day. I think we're going to be talking about this 19 for a while as Fike is way up the racetrack, trying to get some momentum.
Yeah, Forget is absolutely hunting for a top 3 position right now, and it's really fun to watch.
See what he does on McDonald. And this is a driver, this 19, who takes no prisoners. He is not afraid to let this car drive sideways, to make some aggressive moves as he's going to drive to the inside of the 29 here. And he's just close enough to not allow the 29 any extra room. 29 can't come down in front of him. And I imagine there will be a big dive here into turn 1. There it is, big lurch. 19 will clear in the center of 1 and 2. New 3rd place driver, Alex Forget. There's a gaggle back here. Look at this. We're 2 by 2 for
side by side.
8 rows deep. See Thorpe's making an aggressive move on Fike. Trying to get to the bottom of that bright yellow Dollar General 77. Slide up to the side of the 10 to chase down the 02 and 98. McGeorge, not McGregor. It's never been McGregor. McGeorge has fallen back a little bit after all the tires equaled out. He is an 8. Work on Loveland. They are holding up the rest of this field, though. Their side-by-side has caused everyone to stack up behind them. Scary times.
Just to backtrack a little bit, Morgan, we were talking about Grant Turner coming in that second lap. I do not have any notes from race control on him getting a black flag or any penalty for that. So it looks like he came out clear off that.
Noted, the 39 is currently in the 24th position. 25th position, rather. There he is. So not sure if that was just a miscue on his part or what happened, but I mean, the penalty is really in having to pit on your own and losing 20 spots. And he's just about got the fence there. So I don't know if you need the extra penalty for already making a mistake, but it is what it is. Mickelsheimer back here in 15th. Has not really rebounded from that strategy call he made to try and 2 tires stop it. And Nail's in the same position in front of him. Nail is struggling with the handling of that car. A bit of wall contact for Mickelsheimer.
Looked like the car in front of him also got into the wall just a tad.
You can kind of see it from here, but Forget is putting the moves on Raider right now. As Jeremy Burns is your leader. Alex is going to get tight. Remember, these two had some pretty heavy contact at Bristol, caused the 19 to retire, and they're about 3 wide with McDonald. McDonald's going to push all the way down the backstretch. Got to be careful, both these drivers. We are 1 slip out of turn 4 away from the 53 suffering the same fate the 19 did 4 weeks ago. This is the best battle on the racetrack. As the 53 rolls turn 1 a lot better than the 19. Big block on Tay McDonald. McDonald's going to go ahead and grab 3rd back from Forget. So 33 to go, Logan. What do you think? Is it time to bring the noise?
I think it's time.
Let's bring the noise then. Consider the noise brung. As we got 5 cars here that are all stacked up behind Raider. One in front of Lynn's here. Trying to get around that 53. Oh, Forget takes him way up the racetrack. McDonald's trying to force a 3 wide. Erhardt sitting in wait behind him, and so is Lynn's.
This is
30
a great
laps to go.
spot to be.
If you say so. I don't know. I'd rather be where Jeremy Burns is, out here driving away from this field up to 0.7 of a second. I don't think there's much love lost. They're dooring each other through the center of 3 and 4 between this 19 and 53. And McDonald is going to take advantage if they're not careful.
I think that's what he's waiting for too right now, is just let these guys battle and use up their tires more than he is. Eventually he'll make his move, and I think it'll be pretty easy for him if they keep going at it like this.
Yeah, they are driving hard, and they're leaving nothing in the tank right now. Burns is running 34.7s, 30.347. Raider and Tay and Alex are all running in the 30.5s and 6s. So Burns is out here just driving away, not much of an issue, and the rest of this field is caught up to the back of this group. You can see there's 8-10 cars there waiting any kind of bobble. Oh, Forget big time loose out of the corner.
That 19 car just can't seem to get away from being side by side with anybody on this track.
Well, he's struggling with drive off. I think that right rear has kind of slipped away a little bit. He just gets on the power and it just wants to kind of squirm, and he can't run the bottom, he can't run the top. You got a car on either side of you. You have to compromise your line, and that 19's unable to do so. Big aero block for the 41. That's not going to help anything either. These 5 are all trying to chase down Burns. And they are, in fact. Burns ran a 30.61 and cautions out on the racetrack. Is that? Oh, Grant Turner's in it. Oh no. Let's see if we can find out what happened to the 39, who has had a less than ideal night tonight.
It has been a roller coaster for Grant Turner tonight.
It has been. It has been. It looks like he's just, once again, loose. Yeah, loose, and got caught up with, that's the 36. And Turner just got turned into the wall, and boom!
Ooh.
Bring the noise, 51.
That might be the biggest hit we've seen all night.
Yeah, that was massive. That would hurt big time. Let's another look at it. He's right behind Israel. The 51 of Jake Williams Sr. is. Lap down, just rolling. And there's a spinning car up the straightaway and just square in the door. That's a tough break for both those cars. That's probably a blown motor for the 51. And I would think some pretty heavy damage as well for the 39.
That was about 140 to 150 miles an hour to just being parked. That was a hard hit.
On the driver's side door, no less. Like, really not much more dangerous hits than that. I mean, like you said, you're going from pretty fast to stopped immediately. Interesting pit sequence here. Carter Lynn's 2 tires. He's going to get with the lead. Raider just squeaked by Burns on half a second faster pit lane time. Orgette is still in 4th. McDonald falls back to 5th. Erhardt is in 6th. Fike is 7th. Harrison is 8th. He's rebounded quite nicely with another 2-tire stop. Thorpe is 9th, and Loveland is your 10th place driver tonight. 20 laps to go. They're around. What do you foresee?
I think that right there was the caution that Alex Forget needed. The way he's been driving on fresh tires tonight, with just over 20 laps to go, he's going to be able to make a pretty good run for the front off of this restart, and it's this is where it gets a little crazy towards the end of these races, and you'll see a lot more guys trying to make some big moves to gather as many points as they can. It's going to be a fun ending. I don't think it's going to be one guy way out ahead from the start of this restart to the end of this race.
And we will find out how the ending plays out after a quick commercial break. You're watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live on VSpeed. Back right after this.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Here we are, back live at Texas for the Erhardt Group 200. Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, high above the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. We are currently under the chews on caution number 6 of the evening. Just look at Big Hoss on the right side of your screen. Largest HD video screen on Earth. You can see it from the front stretch. Isn't that something?
That's a pretty good view there. I wouldn't be complaining too much if I had that local to me.
Little Mario Kart on there? What do you think?
Oh, that'd be a blast.
You can play it from the suites across the racetrack. You could have a good view, just like you're across from your TV in your living room. That's some pretty cool stuff there. But let's have a look at the weather. We were talking about that earlier. We are down 11 degrees track temp, and I think it's playing right into the hands of the 19. What do you think, Logan?
I think this is going to be a very, like I said earlier, very tight ending, and this is a perfect timed caution for the 19 car, the way he's been driving the last couple laps. So I definitely want to keep an eye on him.
Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. They roll to the restart zone. Bernie's got the flag in hand. Green flag is waving. Restart 7, and Lynn's got a great launch. First time seen a 66 out front today. And Forget, oh, they're in the wall. That's Erhardt. Oh, big wreck. That's Likens. Huge wreck in the back. Is that Forget around too? Forget's
Forget's
around.
around too.
Oh my goodness. We're going to have to, we have a couple different instances to look here, but this is going to completely change the complexion of this race. First, a look back at what happened to Likens. Running the top side. Murphy got a little slowed up. Oh, it's a nail in front of him, and Likens right into the back. Oh, no. Hickelsheimer, and then Johnston's in it. Okay,
That
so
is tough.
So that's incident 1. Now let's have a look what happened to the 19, who has just been snake bitten time after time this season. So he's on the outside of Burns. This is third currently. Roll on the top, doing his thing. Great racing, no question. And then, oh, Big Haas got in the way. But I think he got a little bit of a hook there from the 9.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the same thing you're seeing. It looked like either Forget might have come down just a little bit too much, or Burns came up. Couldn't tell because of Big Hoss, but
yeah, we'll get it
camera
here
angle will get us here
from the inside of the track, sort of view here. But here we go. It looks like, yeah, it looks like just one of those racing deals where one goes up, one comes down. That's a big hit for the 19. Right front is pretty much destroyed, and he's back to 24th position.
That is unfortunate. I was really looking forward to seeing how he was going to try to push towards the end of this, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see that chance.
I was looking forward to practicing my French in the interview when he inevitably got the podium, but obviously not to be here tonight, and we will await a conversation with Mr. Forget in the future, but he's going to have to get that vehicle repaired. Before he goes a lap down, he is currently on pit road. There he is. The rest of the field is entering turn 3, so he's got to get a move on. I just got a reminder of a driver that I haven't talked about much tonight, Dustin Reinstedel. Surprisingly off night for this 11 machine. I think we mentioned him one other time, and that was the grid. He has been riding around in 30th, 3 laps down.
Yeah, there's been quite a few drivers here that just haven't been mentioned a whole lot, and I see Harrison in the 45 up to 7th place now. James Loveland behind him, a couple guys there we haven't talked a whole lot about.
And Gilbert as well. I mean, obviously he had those connection issues. He's 79 laps down right now, but if he keeps it rolling, he's got 3 spots right in front of him in the next 5 laps he can go get. That'll help the points in a big way, but obviously those lap 1 connection issues, you saw the 22 start, I think, 4th position, and have to roll it down pit road and fix the modem, I would imagine, the router, and now he's back in the race, which is good news, with a fresh car.
Yeah, like you said, unfortunately not going to really get too far into this pack with only, what are we, about 18 laps left here.
I would say you're right about that.
He does have a chance to make some headway here and gain a couple extra points than what he would have if he stayed out of this race the whole time. So can't be too upset about that. Obviously, connection issues, not the best outcome for you on any race day. But still, can get his way up there a little bit more than what he was.
Just for reference, you can see it on the right side or left side of your screen right now. He is 38. 79 down, but in front of him, the next 3 drivers are within 2 laps. Cameron King is 78 down, left the session. Peyton Presley, damaged race car, 77 down, left the session. Frank Hughes Jr., damaged car, also 77 down. So he can get up to 35th, and that's 3 extra points that he wouldn't have had otherwise. And that is going to help him regardless of if it's 38th to 35th or if it's, 4th. How about 5th to 2nd? Because winning obviously is a big deal in this league with the playoffs and all that. But good to see the 22 back out here as we're doubling up for what's hopefully, everything's crossed right now, the final restart of this race. We can see a green flag finish.
Yeah, and to backtrack to an earlier conversation about this race being anybody's game, just like we saw with Forget there, it's you can run the best race of your life for 115 laps, and all of a sudden it's just out the window, and it's somebody new that's going to be in that top 3 position.
And that new driver is Carter Lids. He just kind of appeared here. We've been talking about Raider, we've been talking about McDonald and Burns all day. Erhardt's been up here in the top 5. Linz has kind of been a little bit all over the place, but he's the leader right now. 2 tire stop, and 2 tires and cautions go well together. He is sitting in the catbird seat, as they say. We're going to come down here to 15 laps to go, and we'll see what he's got for us. Of course, after 1 pace lap, because the lights are still on the pace car. They doubled up early, and they tricked me.
Yeah, that threw me off too, Morgan.
Look back at the field from your leader, Carter Linz. Now the pace lights are out. I should have been able to tell from the, big flashing front stretch lights, but apparently those weren't obvious enough for me.
Now, I know we're obviously not going to get into any dark circumstances here, but we've mentioned lighting and everything. Morgan, did you know that Texas here has enough permanent fixtures for lighting that they could illuminate 11 NFL stadiums?
Wow, that is a lot of lights for one. Man, the power bill's got to be outrageous, right? I mean, I could put them on my power bill. That's next level. I wonder which 11 they could do. I wonder what their standard for stadium illumination is. That's interesting thought for this Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, all those lights, and then on top of Big Hoss being out there, I could see that electric bill being quite high.
It's up there for sure. All right, drivers rolling into turn 3, doubled up side by side. Not a gap between any of these cars. They all want it, and they know that they can't give up anything at this stage of the race. Pace car is going to turn in. There it is. Field in the hands of Carter Linz. Carter Linz says go time.
He wants this win, that's for sure. This would be huge for Carter.
It would be. He has not had the greatest of seasons. We haven't talked about him a lot this year. He had a really good run at COTA up until an incident happened, and their 3 wide Fike is making moves. That's another driver, though. He's just been all over the racetrack in terms
He's
of
going to take it 3 wide?
The field. Oh, that's dangerous. Harrison making it stick on the bottom. I don't like this. They're dooring each other down the front stretch. Oh, they're really dooring each other. They're in each other's car right now. Fike's going to go all the way to the top side. Are they going to make it through the corner? Oh, big contact. Oh, Harrison spinning. 45 got that wall really hard, and that is going to end his chance at winning this race. It looks like we got 13 to go. That is a unfortunate break for the 45. He is Mr. Wrong Place, Wrong Time this year.
It's like I mentioned, though, this is the time of the race where you start seeing these drivers making a lot more aggressive moves. So it was fun to watch. I wish it would have played out a little bit better for the 45, but that was very bold.
How's the saying go? If you don't find a hole, make a hole?
I believe so.
Something like that, and that's, I mean, I don't see 3 wide at Texas very often, and I see it work well even less often. That was a good example of it there, but I mean, they were dooring each other for a full lap. That was impressive that they were able to hang on to it that long.
Yeah, for that to not come out as a caution, that was incredible driving by all 3 of those guys.
Good battle here for the 8th position, Keith and Thorpe. They're closing in on 10 to go. They're chasing Loveland as well.
Keith and Thorpe, another 2 drivers we haven't talked a whole lot about, and here they are at the back half, or bringing up the backside of the top 10.
We're going to put a little shake and bake move on the 0-2 of Loveland. We're going to dive to the inside as Grant Thorpe, and Loveland's going to fight back up top. Chevy on the bottom, Ford on the top. Chasing down Fike in a Ford. Actually, that's 2 Fords in front of him, I believe. Dave McDonald is in a Ford as they're going to door touch. Oh, Fike gets really loose in front of them. Compromise exit for both those drivers. Erhardt's in the wall. This is just madness out here.
You got to start making moves, though, at some point. You got to get every point that you can. Obviously, you still want to finish the race, but this is where it gets fun, Morgan.
I think every week I talk about go time. Yeah, that was 15 laps ago. You better be up on the horse because everyone else is. I just can't believe that these battles don't go away.
Yeah, it's been like this the whole time. At least somebody side by side somewhere throughout the field, if not multiple times.
Oh, Tay McDonald got a big run on Erhardt off of turn 4. 2 wide into 1. I think he's going to clear down the back. Not quite. Erhardt stays tough on the outside, and oh, he's still there. That is so frustrating as inside car.
See, he was racing the black side of Erhardt's car. Is he going to be able to start racing the white side coming out of 2?
Not quite. No crossover available, but that was just a good move by McDonald. He slid up in front of him, and the 41 never got the position. Oh, we got a big fight back here. Thorpe and Fike. Crossovers, slide jobs, 2x2. Under 10 laps to go here. Everyone is fighting for what's probably going to be their final finishing position. Side by side up here a little bit further.
Fike got a little loose there.
Just panned away from him at the wrong time, but they're still keeping it straight. But he's going to lose some momentum. Right in front of Trevor Keith. Battles on battles on battles here. I was peeking. It looked like Raider was having a fight with Tay and Erhardt. They're fighting for third. They want to get up here and chat with V-Speed's finest. I'm talking about Logan Threlkeld, obviously.
I'm flattered, Morgan. I don't know if I could claim that.
They're all fighting for it regardless. And they're moving around, slipping and sliding. Let's look from the back of Burns. He's not feeling too much pressure right now. It's about 3/10 to those drivers, and they're not catching him. As he has his sights set squarely on Linz, who is 5 laps away from a impressive, what I would call it, finish. See the W word quite yet. I know he hates it when I jinx him, so we're not even talk about that.
We've seen the broadcasters curse all too often.
So many times. Who's not feeling it right now? Tay McDonald. Erhardt, still side by side. Looks like Tay's going to almost clear for that spot. We'll see. Down into 1, he absolutely does clear. Bit of a slide job, and we'll see if Erhardt can fight back on the top. No momentum. No, and actually Erhardt got tight at that, so that's going to help even more. Oh, we're wrecking back there.
Little sideways.
I just saw somebody have a big issue. Oh, was it Justice Murphy? I think it was, actually. Was able to save that machine. I thought he was in the inside wall.
The way that car looked like it was going down the track, I'm with you. I thought that was going to be a big hit.
I mean, we've seen that how many times already? Like 4 times we've seen a car sideways off of 2 and not been able to save it.
2's dangerous.
2 is dangerous. Banking falls away, and there's nothing to hold you. Fike has fallen back to the 11th position. Fighting with Caleb Gilbert for the last spot in the top 10. We're going to move back up to the front. 2 laps to go. Carter Linz as he's going to catch lap traffic. Burns is in second. That gap has grown significantly. It's now 8/10. Raider is back to third, and they're fighting hard with McDonald. Erhardt's involved as well. Third place is not settled out yet. Carter Linz is about to take the white flag. Coming to take the white flag, Carter Linz. Erhardt Holmes, white flag, love where you live. Linz is going to dive it down to turn one. He's just got to make 2 more good corners. The 66 can call it a night. He's off turn 2 clean. Burns is way out the rear window. Into 3. Take the nice defensive line here. Out of turn 4. Your winner, Carter Linz.
What a race for Carter. Coming out of nowhere.
Now that is how you get one on strategy. But he earned it. Don't get me wrong. He had to drive those last 20 laps or so, but he went out there and he got that win. No question. And to beat Jeremy Burns, Robert Rader, the guy Erhardt, the guys who have been at the top of this league for a while, it's just impressive stuff. And looking through the leaderboard, Tay McDonald must have had an issue. He is not scored up in the top 10. Go back to see what happened to the 29, where he finished 24th position, a lap down, so some sort of issue there. Let's get that off the screen so they can get their picture. There's your top 3. Congratulations to them. Linz, Burns, and Rader. Big slide for the 66. Exciting times in that sim rig, I am sure. He earned this win. Went out and took it. I have to work on the donuts a little bit. We'll deal with that later. We will be back. You're watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series by Racing Revolution. Back right after this with a race recap, interviews with your top 3, and a look ahead to the rest of the season. See you right after this.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Marty's hair cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
We are back after what was a thrilling Erhardt Group 200 here for the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series Racing Revolution. Let's have a look and see how it went down. 7 cautions, 6 lead changes among I think 4 different drivers. Carter Lentz grabbed away the victory from Element X Racing. Jeremy Burns, Robert Rader led a lot of this race. Linz went out and got it on pit strategy. Burns second, Rader third. Erhardt with a great showing, possibly his best of the year, finishing 4th. Grant Thorpe came home in 5th in that bright yellow 77. Holloway in a 21 was our 6th place driver. Trevor Keith, great run in 15 or for the 15 in 7th, up 23 positions. Loveland up 11 in the 02. Gilbert's up 3 in the 54, and Fike basically where he started. But he passed, I think, every car out here 3 times, and he finished in 10th.
Behind Fike, we got Justice Murphy coming in 11th. Michael Bennett, Jacob Sirkovich, Jeffrey Israel Jr. in 14th. Christopher Schaefer in 15th. Jackson McGeorge in 16th. Christian Bresnock. Didn't talk a whole lot about him, but he had himself a pretty decent race, gaining 5 positions. Nicholas Schell, Matt Robinson, and Dylan Picklesheimer bringing up the back half of the top 20.
21st was Berger in the 36. Started 36th and worked his way up to 21st. Tyler Harrison obviously caught up in an issue late. He finished in 22nd. Diaz, never really mentioned his name tonight. Up 5 spots to 23rd. Tay McDonald obviously was battling for a top 5 until the last lap. Connection issue. Call that a blown engine in iRacing. That's going to relegate him back to 24th. Forget had a strong run, spun off the nose of Burns. He is 25th. Williams, senior, 26th. Reinstedel, not a great night for him. Right around where he started in 27th, 7 laps down. Turner, up and down day, 28th. Alves, down day, 29th. And Parker Johnston was 30th.
Then 31st, Al Likens in the 40 car. Chris Nail in the 88. Brennan Richardson coming in 33rd. Kevin Orlando Jr., I believe this is where we start coming in with the cars that did not get to finish this race. Travis Gilbert, Frank Hughes Jr., Peyton Presley, and Cameron King.
Gilbert was able to grab those 3 spots by rejoining the session, so good news for the points on that 22 machine. Bad news for the 27's points. He will probably not be second after this week. But with that being said, we are going to move on to our top 3. I have caught up with Robert Rader. Have a look at that Robert Rader machine. There's the 53. Get him up here in the booth. Robert Rader, Morgan and Logan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Well, first off, I think you need to go congratulate every one of these drivers tonight. Fantastic racing in this Racing Revolution Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. They all did a great job, and you obviously, no doubt, you've led 52 laps in this race and ran side by side, I feel like, for 130 of these 133 laps. What did you need to do?
Did feel that way.
What did you need to do to pass at this racetrack tonight?
Well, I mean, it seemed like everybody needed everything. I don't know. It seemed like everybody struggled to pass. I especially was having trouble. At some point there, I looked at the outside wall wrong, and I got 2.8 seconds of optional damage, which got fixed, obviously pretty quickly, but Then next time I came down pit road, old crew chief told me that we had damage that can't be fixed, and ever since then I was just really slow down the straightaways. So that really hurt me as the race went on. I was really struggling to get the power down on corner exit and carry that momentum down the straightaway, and so I had to race guys really hard. I probably pissed a couple guys off tonight, but I mean it was that, or as soon as you get outside that top 3 or 4, you're done. You're not going anywhere. So I had to fight pretty hard for it. So I could have definitely used not hitting the wall to answer your question.
That is usually a solid strategy, is not making contact with the outside wall, but it's easier said than done. Um, Being that you had the issue on horsepower, it seemed like, what did you do? Were you on the bottom? Did you want the top? Where did you want to be in that 53 machine?
Well, I wanted to try to run the bottom, which became a little bit of an issue, especially in 3 and 4. You can't really carry the speed down there on the long run. You have to be, half a lane, maybe a lane up off the bottom on the long run. But the big thing that I did to adjust was I just started running in 4th gear. So, that really threw the balance of the car off, but it was the only way I was sticking side by side with these guys down the straightaway, and then try to pinch them a little in the corners, and it was really hard to pass on the bottom if a guy was going to really race you. So, that was kind of the strategy to hold on to 3rd, and it worked, but there were a few sketchy moments there when we got it in 4th gear all the way down the back straightaway into turn 3, and now you got to kind of change the way you're driving, figure it out on the fly, and then you got guys all over the place. You're trying not to wreck, so yeah, it was a little sketchy.
I would call this a spicy race, is what it looked like from up in the booth. You guys were sideways, bouncing off each other, just trying to racing each other really hard, and I'm impressed with everyone in this lead tonight. So I think you can congratulate those guys. But speaking of congratulations, who do you want to shout out for this 3rd place finish tonight?
I got to shout out Chapman Environmental Services. Got them on the car. They also sponsor the team. They sponsored the league, do a lot for us. So big shout out to them. Shout out to Jeremy Burns and the rest of EXR2, but especially Jeremy. We were working together as teammates there for a little while, and he was helping me out by not pressuring me too much. But then, as the track cooled down and guys were carrying more speed on corner exit, the damage to my car just became more and more apparent, and it got to the point where I had to let him by and let him kind of try and go get it, and try to race those guys hard behind him, give him a little gap, a little breathing room. So we worked great tonight, as we always do. So big shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to Erhardt Homes here for sponsoring the race tonight. You guys always do a pretty good job for us, so appreciate you guys up there in the booth. I'm probably forgetting a couple Ultimate siding and gutters, and you got Coastal Financial for the truck series. You've got All About Bugs. Probably got 2 or 3 more. Buttkicker. So yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the league as well. We really appreciate everybody coming out here. It seemed like it was a relatively clean race. We had some cautions, but we didn't look any worse than the Cup Series guys did on Sunday, I don't think.
I would agree with that. It was a lot of loose at it too, is where most of those cautions came from, and that's pretty much unavoidable at this place. But great job, Robert. P3 here tonight in the Chapman. So not Chapman. How about Erhardt Group 200 in the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series? I think I got that right. Okay, that was your 3rd place finisher. Logan is caught up with the mountain man himself.
Jeremy Burns in the number 9, 2nd place finish tonight. Stayed up there in the front the whole time. Jeremy, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy. Great race tonight, man. Almost so close to scratching another one into that table I'm hearing about. Just take a second to kind of walk me through it, man. What were you feeling throughout this race?
Well, towards the end there, I was feeling a lot of guilt. I just completely misjudged where my car was and got into Brew Bay there. So first thing, I got to apologize to him, because obviously it's not how I want to be known to race people. And we've raced a lot, and we've raced very clean and very hard in the past. And unfortunately it sucks, right? Because I don't want to take anybody out for that. It's a little bittersweet, right? And overall it was a good points day. Got stage points, got 2nd there, but just I've kind of beaten myself up over it, honestly, because that's just not who I am, and yeah, that sucks. But overall, towards the end there, Carter just kind of drove away from us, but Rob did the cool thing of doing a little teammate. He knew that he didn't have anything for him, so he kind of let me take it as soon as I got the run on him. But yeah, like I said, a little bittersweet. Race was good. Uh, got everything. Flawless execution. Just unfortunate timing there, and like I said, it's very bittersweet.
Yeah, and looking at that on Alex from up here, you could tell there was no ill will behind that. It was just a pure racing incident. But it happens in these races, especially here at Texas. But you came into this race with a head full of steam after the last couple of them for you, finishing great, and again finishing great here, going into Talladega. Um, just you're doing a good job, man, and if you can keep it up, by all means do that. But it's fun to watch you out here, and just how you feeling going into Talladega after these last couple weeks?
Well, I like the points gap that we've built up, right? The guy behind me, Kevin Orlando, he didn't have necessarily the best night, so being able to keep that gap and just extend it that way when we go into super speedways, it gives us a buffer to have maybe not so good of a race. But looking forward to it. Got one of the better teams out there in EXR. Uh, Looking forward to getting after it. I know that we haven't had the best luck as teams go at least on the super speedway. So looking to get back after it, and I mean it's gonna be crazy, right? But coming back from the bye week to get second, it's nothing to hang your hat on. But like I said, we just gotta get after it and execute on the strategy next week. I know that's probably gonna play a big part, but yeah, other than that, just looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you can keep the momentum you've had, then it's a good possibility you might be marking Talladega on that table.
Mm-hmm.
While you're here, Jeremy, anybody you'd like to give a quick thanks to?
My mom and dad, my girlfriend Josie, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma Miss Betsy. Their continued support's amazing, and I can't shout them out enough. Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shem, Melinda, any other supporters in the league. Element X Racing, great team, great execution all day. Once again, just gotta say sorry to Alex, man. It really sucks, and that all sucks. And all of the sponsors of the league, Chapman Environmental, being on the hood, being on the shirt, Buttkicker, Coast Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Erhardt Homes, all about bugs, and V Speed, of course, for putting on a great show and a great broadcast, and all the admins and the drivers. Once again, turnout was amazing this week, and they just continue to knock it out of the park. So, gotta shout all them out. But yeah, other than that, we're looking to go to Talladega now.
Awesome. Well, again, great race tonight, Jeremy. P2 finishes nothing to be upset about, and good luck next week.
Yes, sir, guys. Appreciate it.
That was your second place finisher tonight, Jeremy Burns. We move up to the top step of the podium. As I move out of the broadcast studio, there we go. Carter Linz, you got a copy?
Right here.
Well, you went out and you won this race. And you didn't do it on pure speed. You didn't go up there and pass those Element X guys, but you did a great pit strategy call. What made you take two tires?
Oh, just talking to the team, talking to Chris, talking to Tyler, we're all wondering what to do in this situation. Not knowing if there's going to be a green flag run or if there's going to be another caution. So it just came to a gamble. We all said take rights and hopefully all goes well. And turns out it was the right call for us. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. As you leapfrogged, I think 4 or 5 spots there, making that move, and you came out with the lead out of pit road, obviously, and then you had to drive 15 hard laps to keep those the Jeremy Burns machine and Raider behind you. Is there anything you did different after you took tires? Did the car drive any different that you had to kind of adjust to on the fly?
drop gears in the turn 1 and turn 3 and hope it sticks and make sure to try to build a gap from those two because I know those two are some of the fastest guys out here every Wednesday night. And when you see them in your rearview mirror, you just want to hopefully you can get a gap on them. And I somehow managed to pull away from them there at the end.
I think they were probably smashing square, hitting the intimidator button, trying to get in your head, but you did a great job of not letting them. So you mentioned shifting going into 1 and into 3. So were you shifting the entire race, or was it just after those 2 tires?
So there were certain instances. I know for the stage points, I was downshifting, running hard, going to fourth gear in the corners, trying to maintain that first position spot at the stage. Ended up falling short, got second on there. There at the end, it was managing those two rights, keeping it straight, downshifting, and not cooking the tires. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Well, you made it look pretty good here tonight. That 66 is going to end up in victory lane. Anyone you want to thank or shout out for the race win in the Erhardt Group 200?
Shouting out you guys, V Speed. You guys do a great job every week. Shout out Racing Rev for putting on amazing races every week. Great group of guys. Admin team, you guys are fantastic. OMT guys, Chris, Joe, Kevin, Tyler, always amazing running with them. They're a great team, fun guys to hang around. Friends, family, all you guys watching. I know you guys are out there. My girlfriend Sarah, I know she was probably watching tonight. Yeah, pretty much. I think I covered it.
Yeah, impressive run tonight. You went and you turned a good day into a great day, but the 2-tire stop, and I believe that puts you in the playoffs, does it not?
I believe so. I saw saying that I was in third or I was in sixth place before that last stop and came out in first, and I just did a quick clarification. I was like, I have to win to get in the playoffs, and they said yes. So that was my mission there at the end. So yes, I am now in the playoffs.
Well, put a big green check mark beside your name. Mission accomplished. Congratulations, Carter.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that is your winner tonight of the Erhardt Group 200 at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. All right, well, that will wrap up our post-race show. Don't forget, everyone, please join us next week as the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series moves on to Talladega Super Speedway. And if you thought the side-by-side racing tonight was spectacular, you haven't seen anything until you've seen Talladega. It'll be a fantastic race. I am absolutely sure of it. As we bring you live coverage on V-Speed all season long of the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to click the like and subscribe button to the channel so you never miss a single race, as we have more and more content throughout the week. And if you're still wanting more action, go check out the Overtake iRacing League that is live right now, right here on V-Speed. But for everyone at V-Speed, Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, my co-commentator Logan Threlkeld, I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great evening. Thank you, and good night.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.